It's the man cave, baby. Topics about to be hot. Dave Shug and the fellas about to stir up the pot. Hot topics, put your mind at ease. We talking about everything, especially the shit that you need in our community. Never miss a show that be truancy. We all got opinions on the show, I be doing me. Wayne with the sports, real topics with real men. Welcome to the man cave, step right in.
Welcome one, welcome all. You are in the Man Cave, and we are the Man Cave. I'm Big Dave, man. We appreciate you for stopping through on this special edition of the Man Cave. Man, we all just had a lot to say, man. And this is the Man Cave with the fellas, and today I'm blessed to have the fellas with us. So, of course, you know, unless you're hiding under a rock, we've all seen this situation that's happening in Minnesota and Minneapolis. You know, rest in peace to that young brother who was tragically murdered on camera right in front of our face by the very police that are you know, stationed here to protect and serve, that are hired and paid with our tax dollars to protect and serve. You know.
Turn your volume down. Turn your volume down.
Okay. Yeah, the volume on your phones, guys, in case it's feeding back a little bit. Sorry about that, but just in case people don't understand, like we you know, these kind of topics come up a lot. We run into them, like the Philando Castile case, Freddie Gray, Tamir Rice. I mean, the list goes on and on. These things come up, and what we do as a people, as a community, is we are outraged by it initially, and then in a couple weeks we forget about it. This is the same case being with the young gentleman who was just doing, I believe it was Uber Eats or something like that, and he got shot and killed. I'll get that name for you shortly. I mean, these things happen and we forget about it. The Aubrey case was just a couple weeks ago. Now we have a new one with the young gentleman, George, who was murdered on TV. And I think we have finally got to a place where most Americans, such as myself, who really are kind of disconnected from it, we see it, we understand it, we ingest it, but we don't feel it. I think this is going to be the first one that a lot of us are feeling, because we actually saw this police officer grind his knee in this man's neck with a smirk on his face as he enjoyed it. You know, with onlookers yelling for him to stop. You know, citizens' arrests are things that need to go back into play here in America. So with that said, welcome to the show. Of course, as always, man, co-pilot, general in charge up in here, Big Shug with us.
What's up, man? Boom, 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 boom. We back up in the building, man. You know, my heart has been heavy. Heavy, man. Heavy as a bomb, man. You know what I'm saying? And thanks to Ken for opening up the studio to allow us to have a creative space so that we can come in and have a conversation, because our voices are not getting heard.
Yes, indeed.
You know, and I look around and I see other people see what's going on, but nothing is being said about it.
Right.
You know, and all the responsibility is going back on our mothers, it's going back on our fathers, our brothers, and our sisters to bury our dead. And it's at the cost of something that could be totally rectified and done away with. But at the same time, us as a people, we have to make our voices louder, and we need to incorporate our allies in this fight. We're not alone in this.
Absolutely, 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 man.
And alongside us is...
Go ahead, man, bring him in.
What's up, Beast, man? How you doing, man?
What's up, what's up?
All right, all right.
Adrian
Beast
the
mode.
Beast, a.k.a. the problem solver. First thing I'm going to say is, let me say hello to all of my beautiful, amazing, talented, and priceless black community and citizens, all right? And then hello to my young, gifted, and black children and citizens. I want to let everybody know, like, this platform that we're doing today is for y'all. You know, you're hurt and you're tired, and we acknowledge that. And that includes us, you know, us as grown black men. And I want y'all to know we're citizens, and we should not forget that. We shouldn't let nobody else forget that. We're here to stay. We ain't got nowhere else to go. Nobody can tell us to go back to some place we don't belong. Like, this is where we belong. This is our ground to fight for, just as good as anybody else, and probably more so because we done all the work. We laid all the groundwork. We've done everything. So not everything per se, but we have every right to defend ourselves and stand up for ourselves and feel the pain that we're going through as a community. And I want to just use those words of solidarity. Like, we have to understand that we are a community like anybody else's community, and we have to start figuring out how can we solve these problems as a community. And that is why we're here today, you know. And hopefully it's not all a downhill conversation about like us being down on ourselves and and the country being down on us, but how can we solve these problems, and how can we start now, and so that it's not further in the future but closer in the future, that we feel safe at home.
Well, let's start there. Let's start there for the conversation's sake of it. You know, I'm gonna start with you, 80, since you brought it up. You know, and I call you all day, but I'm gonna start it with you since you brought it up. Like, what do you think would be, you know, because I'm about change that really matters. I think this is why I'm such a Yang fan, and I'll keep saying his name, but I'm such a Yang fan because he talks about things that are actually you're gonna feel on a day-to-day basis.
For sure.
Not on a, you know, oh, your taxes are gonna be low, oh, the education system. I mean, just things you're gonna actually feel in your household. So what I'd like to ask both of you gentlemen today, and I'll weigh in it as well after you guys, but what can we actually do to evoke change today as individuals?
And it's crazy that you're talking about like Yang, and now we starting to see some old Tupac videos show back up. Some not of his music, but of his conversation and how he wanted us to always be aware of what the threat is.
Right.
And the threat was never us ourselves. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much somebody tried to paint that light, you know, a lot of the threat that we do have within our community was inflicted on us and brought to the mind how we damage each other. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But then every other danger out there is coming at us.
Yes.
It's towards us 100%. It's,
absolutely.
You know, and then, so like one of the solutions, the very first solution that pops up in my mind, you know, and I'm gonna go back to the word community, is that Black communities have to start acknowledging that they are strong Black communities. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got Black Panthers, you know, we got Neighborhood Watch, you know, but when you go into other communities, they let you know that they're there and that this area is protected. No, and the number one way they do that is with white cops. But the number one way they do it is with white cops.
But okay, so you're advocating that we actually start the line, because I made a post on that myself a couple of days ago, that we actually, if we want to fight, instead of, you know, hey, listen, to all the people in Minneapolis, I'm with you. Yeah, I understand.
All three of us, 100%.
You guys burning stuff down. Hey,
let's make that. Let's make that plural.
But
Dallas, Fort Worth, San Diego, California, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Arizona. Everybody is standing right there. Chicago. I mean, we're all standing right there with Minnesota.
Okay, I want to just say that I don't think that's the answer.
Okay, no. So
I do not think that rioting, looting, marching, any of that is the answer. I think right now the answer is economics.
So the truth is, like you're saying, is not the answer. I talked to Shakri earlier on the phone. Shakri thought it was the answer, and the thing is that nobody knows, because so far nothing has worked.
But we've done that.
So I know what
we've done that.
Oh, but guess what? And it got us this far. Believe it or not, it was worse when we rioted to get this far. So I don't know if we could say that it doesn't work.
From your perspective, what would work?
Okay, so let's just bring up the video that came out today about Target, all right? And the fact that people were running in and out the doors with product. So the intent, coming from how I see Shakri, I spoke to my mom about it earlier. My mom was like, that's not how we should do it. Just like you're saying. Then Shakri was saying that if you're not for us, you're against us, and we should burn down everything you have. Now that is all, everybody's idea is justified, but understand that idea could be either a dangerous thing or a good thing.
Well, let me
hold on, I'm not done. It's perspective. Right. But if they were looting, You know, okay, they went into Target, they started tearing it down. But what did they start doing? They started taking things for self-gratification.
Right.
When you start changing the reason why something happens, it is no longer for that cause. Right. Now, if they went in there and they broke everything in Target and left it there and let Target know that, you know what, we're against you because you weren't there for us, and left everything in shambles, that would have made a better statement than watching everybody run out with everything that they would like, a refrigerator, a TV, you know. So it's how we start to change the idea after it starts. It started one way, but then people started seeing what they could get out of it, and they lost. Every time that we start off, we lose focus, and that's the difference between us and everybody else. They don't lose focus. When the man decided that we were going to be a future threat, he has not lost focus in 500 years.
That was what
you know what I'm saying?
That was what
we lose focus in 3 days. This is day 3, and we've already lost focus.
Adrian, that's what I was saying in the preface to the show, that we think these things happen and then we forget about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And with that said, we're gonna go ahead and pass it to Shug and see what do you think can actually evoke change in our community today?
First of all, I just want to elaborate on the burning and the looting that I was speaking of. For every action, there's an opposite reaction. Mm-hmm. Okay. In regards to Target, in regards to any other store that experienced any type of looting, burglarized, during a rioting process, it all becomes down to, we haven't heard your voice. And it sounds like it's an excuse, but it really honestly is not an excuse. Black people or African American people and other people of minority descent feel like we're the only ones that are talking. Meanwhile, we're the essential employees in the COVID-19 and the quarantine that are going to work, pushing your trucks, delivering your groceries to you, dropping off your Uber Eats. But these companies are not standing up and talking for their employees. And so one of the ways that we need to invoke this change is everyone here that is listening to this podcast that feels the impact of George Floyd murder on the streets of Minneapolis. You work for an employer. You have a CFO. You have a COO. You have a president of your company.
And an HR department.
And an HR department. You need to send them emails. And you need to let them know, like, hey, listen, this is how this affects me. I come to work for your company every day to help you make millions and trillions and billions of dollars. What are you doing? You have a social responsibility to the community that you serve. And if you're not serving if you're not voicing the issues that are impacting that community, then you're going to get rioting and looting inside of Target.
But see, that's why I say we need black community committees that let you know that we are here as a black. We have to start teaching each other. Like we talk at each other and we say, yeah, you're right. But we have to start building a platform that teaches, like you're saying, that, you know, rioting might not be the answer in today's society.
No,
there's no other.
I don't agree with it.
There's no other platform. Nobody's building any platforms, and I'm sure this is going to be the next topic that Shakri talk about, because we talked about it on the phone. Is that there are no actual strong black heavy. You know, I got clout. I got people behind me. Where are they? Where are our black?
Where's Reverend T.D. Jakes at?
You know what I'm saying?
Where is he at?
Well, I don't want to single people.
No, I'm just saying, and people in those type of calendars. I know we have our hip hop moguls that are speaking out. Where are the people, the business people?
I have a crazy thought of how to fix it. The only way to fix it, to me, the way I feel, would be radical change. And when I say radical, I really mean radical.
You mean civil?
I mean radical.
What do you mean?
Civil. No, I don't mean civil.
Elaborate.
I mean radical.
Elaborate.
Okay. I mean, it's a crazy thought, but it seems like the right thing to do. You know, I feel like we need to take more of a Malcolm X approach.
By any means,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
To this country. And what I mean by that is that, let's say we all, you know, figured out where we want to live. Let's just say it's Texas, nice big state like this.
Take it
40
over.
million of us.
And take it over.
Say we all just moved here, bought up all the fucking land, took over those Senate seats, took over those House seats, took over these mayoral seats, hired our people as police officers, protected our community.
That's a strong idea.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a strong idea. It did. It happened in Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yep. And what happened?
And it can happen again.
It
They
can.
bombed Black Wall Street.
Because we're stronger now.
But that was but we're way stronger now.
Yeah.
We've got. I mean, where's Diddy? Where's these NBA players? Like you were saying, where these NFL? I mean, I agree with both of you. I'm just more on a radical part.
No, I told you that.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a racial civil war.
See, I don't believe that it's racial.
I don't believe it's racial.
Okay, listen. I want you to
exactly.
follow
See,
me.
you can't
Sugarcoat
it, man.
No. You gotta follow me.
You just said that all the minorities take over a whole area. That's segregating
I'm not
yourself.
saying we're taking over it.
Let's just say
white people walking with us in this journey.
They're walking.
It's not just us.
So but based on what you just said,
I'm saying us live in a concentrated area. Yes.
How is that different from what I'm saying?
Because what it is it's different. But I'm not saying a racial divide. I'm talking about a dollar divide.
Because all right, this is what I'm trying to say.
Dollar divide.
But this is what I'm trying to say about the idea, because you just said all of us is going to take over an area, right?
Yeah.
And for that to happen, somebody has to be deciding who's coming into the area. And then you try to tell me it's not racial. Like, come on, we can't play the idiocracy like everybody else.
Listen, this is not a white-black issue. This is a blue.
So how did you expect that idea that you just said? How you expect that idea to happen?
If you just listen to what I'm saying, this is a blue-black issue. This is not about white people.
So you cutting out the.
This is not about white people. This is not about Asian people. It is not about Latino people. This is about people who wear blue uniforms and black people.
How do you expect?
This is about us being their stat.
Because we're talking about problem
This is about us being their quota.
Yeah.
This is about us being the filling part of their court dockets on a weekly basis.
I agree. Listen,
this is what it's about. It's not about, listen, this is not
Dave,
Tom against Leroy.
Dave, you're not hearing me.
I know, I
said
hear you.
Your idea.
Absolutely.
How do you expect that to happen?
What do you mean?
The idea you just proposed, right? And you said we just purchase area, right? And you said we.
We.
All right.
Absolutely.
And then you said it's not about that. It's about blue and black. Hold on.
Right.
And I said, now, how does that idea make it through selection process? I mean, we talking about answers. Let's get all the way down to the
process.
Well, what he's
People
basically saying is yeah, okay, so you get it. But I mean, realistically, I'm not moving anywhere unless I decide to.
Well, you already in Texas.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. So, but the thing is, too, man, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing a lot of personal outreach to people that are on my Facebook page. Like, I just feel like it's just necessary from people to hear from me. Like, I'm really nobody, you know what I'm saying? But I am somebody. But the people to the people that I've been reaching out to have been my white brothers and sisters. I'll scroll through their timeline and say, hey, listen, we have this social issue that is going on right now, and you're talking about what soup goes with good with what crackers. You know what I'm saying? That's really nice of you to post that. But however, there's a situation that requires your immediate attention. And as far back as we go, I need you to stand in solidarity with me and I need to hear your voice in synchronization with mine.
That's
because
great.
This is an issue that doesn't just affect me. In 20 years from now, your children, your grandchildren will be dealing with the issue that is similar to what we have going on.
Yeah, because we're still dealing.
Listen to me. If you don't believe me, look at the stats from the 1980 cocaine crack epidemic, when cocaine and crack was implemented into our neighborhoods and into our society and deteriorized us. Fast forward 25, 30 years later, now you're dealing with the opioid epidemic because that problem wasn't properly addressed. Now is the time for our brothers and our sisters, our allies, people who, even if you support Donald Trump or you support whoever you want to support, whatever political fashion that you want to support, now is the time to show that you are an American. Now is the time to show what United States mean.
But how do you feel about Donald Trump saying what he said when he said?
No one is really paying attention to Donald Trump right now, to be honest with you.
But you heard what he said, though. Right?
I mean, Donald Trump. I
heard what he said, right?
Like what?
He told to the police officers, I don't want you to worry about hurting anybody. If you got to do what you got to do what you got to do.
Well, I mean, come on now. Like, there's a long list of things that Donald Trump said. You know what I'm saying? So it's like some of the stuff that just goes in one ear and out the other ear. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the same time, we're talking about things that we can do on a community level, not
Yeah,
on
on
a
the community
presidential level.
absolutely.
So Donald Trump is way out of the league
Hey,
here.
look, I totally believe that the first thing we need to do is get in line. We need to put applications in.
Applications for what?
Police department, judges,
Yes,
lawyers,
that is true.
DAs.
That is
Like, we cannot evoke change
But
from
that's-
here.
that's-
Hold up. Listen, Amy Klobuchar, whatever her name is. Klobuchar. Yeah, her. I mean, this dude, this same officer that killed this guy, man, this dude, come on, man. This dude had already shot somebody, had been on administrative leave 2 or 3 times before already. I mean, and she refused to prosecute this dude. Now we have, listen.
I'm gonna say we got a lot of black chief of police, by the way.
To everybody, yeah, we do.
But
But they're all
just
doing,
to let you know.
But they're all doing the same shit.
Yeah.
They're just like Candace Owens or whatever her name is. You know what I'm saying?
You know what you
they
just made me
sitting
think
there in
about?
position to look like they're doing something and they're really not doing it. Hold up, listen. When we saw this man sitting there with his knee on this guy's neck,
Oh my
right?
gosh, man.
Let me ask you
Oh
a
my gosh.
question.
Oh my God.
I'd like to challenge you guys out there in the world to do the same thing. Get down on your knees and just sit there on your knees with your hand in your pocket. There's absolutely no reason to have your hand in your pocket unless you're cupping your leg to push it on that man's
Oh my
neck.
gosh.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is why this man was sitting there with his hand in his pocket. Nobody wants to address that. Then the media turns around and they try to say, oh, he died at the hospital. Bullshit.
He died on the
I saw
scene.
him die
He died on the
right
scene.
there on the scene.
So, Dave, let me.
I'm sorry. My
Dave,
fault. Go ahead.
Dave, B. And everybody that is listening to this podcast right now, this is the perfect time. Listen
Not
to me.
here.
Listen to me. No. This is the perfect time to ask for our reparations. Part of our reparations is that we want expedient reaction from our judicial system when the police brutalize and murder one of our unarmed civilians.
They should already be held to higher standards.
We're no longer asking for it, we're demanding it.
And that's
This-
something I wanted to address too. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a part of our reparation process because we can't seem to figure out what we want for reparation. We want like an expedient judicial system, and these police officers that are committing these heinous crimes, they have records. We want these records to be reviewed of all the police officers in all the departments. If you work for a company and you get 3 write-ups, usually you're out of that freaking company. There's no longer, there shouldn't be 10 or 12 incidents by a police officer and then they turn around and kill somebody before someone decides that they need to be let go or put on some paid administrative leave. That's too many opportunities to allow something like this to happen.
Yeah.
This is the part of our reparations that we are demanding.
I just want.
Reparations don't have to be
Go ahead.
monetized. You're right.
Yeah.
We should start thinking about reparations and things that will actually make our communities better. And like one of the things you addressed, like you said we need to line up and get into the police, and get into the police. And the answer to why that's not happening is not, you made me think about it, is that the police did a good job of creating a stigma in our head about how we don't want to be cops.
Right.
Yeah,
So they're doing a
absolutely.
good job
Absolutely.
at making sure that we don't come over there.
It's not them. It's us because we just don't fuck with them.
Right,
but
no, listen to them. So that's what I'm saying.
In order to
This
fuck
right here-
with them, we gotta become them.
Dave,
Listen,
this is what I'm saying,
If you
though.
go to Washington, D.C., where I'm from, and you get pulled over, the nigga that's come up to your car gonna be like, what's up, blood?
Dave, I'm from New Orleans.
Let me
It's
get
the
your
same.
license and registration,
It's-
dog.
I'm from New Orleans.
Right,
It's the
yeah, same thing there.
But listen to me, bro. What I'm saying is, just like you just said, we don't fuck with the cops.
Right.
That's the mindset that they want. They're
Absolutely.
encouraging that
And-
because it stops it from happening. But hold up, I'm not even done.
Okay.
And on what you're saying about reparations and the testing, I was talking to my mom, and this was the thing we was talking about. One, we get mentally tested to go into the Marine Corps,
Right.
to go into any service,
Right.
right? The police is a service,
Right.
One, they need to get mentally tested.
Right.
That test should go on record.
Right.
And if you pass, that means that you understand right from wrong about all of these things.
Right.
And once you have gone against that, you know what I'm saying, and you've done something that is not regular with your mental testing, you should be prosecuted.
Right.
Because you either lied on your test, or one, you were never there mentally to begin with, and you shouldn't even be here.
But what is the test that they give?
What I'm saying, they don't.
No, they do. They want you to be
They
a
do?
perfect motherfucker. And perfect motherfuckers shouldn't be there to police you.
Police you.
I believe that imperfect motherfuckers should be policing motherfuckers.
And then that makes another point that we should know, not only us but the police themselves, because obviously they don't know what their job is.
Exactly.
Your job is not to inflict harm on me. Even if you know what, that's no different than how the government is telling you can't whip your kids. Your kids can be really messed up, and you can't whip your kids because it is wrong to hit someone. But to hit somebody out of anger and hate. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that they want us to implicate that, but they don't want to do it themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth is, to police you, if you want me to just correct myself, it doesn't take physical harm every single time. Even if I'm wrong, we have employed you to make sure that I am protected against myself and others. You know what I'm saying?
I have a question for both of you. Well, how about we affect change by stop hiring bitch ass niggas? How about that? Can we do that? Can we stop hiring faggot ass police?
Yeah.
I'm talking about beta ass males.
Yeah,
the scary ones.
I'm talking about scared ass motherfuckers who have no business.
Yeah, rolling around.
Hold up. You have a gun, a badge, a motherfucking taser, a bulletproof jacket, and you have the audacity to tell me, I'm just concerned with my safety here, sir.
And motherfucker, you approach me.
Are you serious?
Listen.
You have every weapon available.
I want to ask you a question. Do you know, can you recall in your lifetime, and you too, how many times you've been pulled over by the police?
Man, hell nah.
Too many times. But yet there are people in our social media platforms who never had any type of confrontation.
Oh, that leads me to one thing for sure. Listen to me, man. Like, I don't care. Like, this conversation can be to everyone. This conversation can be to everyone. But it's not for everyone to concern themselves with a response. Let me tell you, if your job is to take any of these type of platforms, not just ours, but something where we are advocating for the black community, and you want to spin it into your white washed logic, don't do it. Just stop doing it. Stop doing it.
Don't do it. By the way, the phone lines are
open
at 203-802-KMWI. That's 5694 for all you phonetically challenged
Any
people.
questions?
And please,
203-802-5694. Please, we encourage you to call in. We want your perspective as well.
Call in.
Go ahead, AD.
This is a community.
Go ahead and finish your thought, brother.
Well, shoot, man, we keep going on and on. Next thing is, with the internet, hey, we need to stop being stupid, all right? We need to stop letting the internet and social media take away our common sense.
This is very true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we see the truth, we see the lies too, but we want to gamble in all of it together, man. It can't be like that. You got to realize that there is a truth to our world, and it's not all on social media. It's really happening. Like right now, like us over here, honestly, I try not to comment on it because we are watching the riot, but they are living the riot.
Exactly.
So then we got all these social media mongols who's going to get on here and give their comments, and this is what I think, and they're going to do snippets of the whole little thing. Like, don't let that fool you. Don't be so sucked up in the way we live our lives currently on social media to know that it should take away our common sense and what we know is right and wrong and blind us to what the truth is of what's happening to people. I don't care what color you are. Listen, there's a truth. There's a truth and there's a lie to everything. It's that simple.
Hey, look, also, just in case all you guys out there, I want to commend my man Shirk. I love your shirt, brother. Yes. What is that right there?
This is from Haile Selassie King Rastafari the First. See?
Yeah, yes sir, yes sir.
Yo, this shirt right here is my political stance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you made that, correct?
Yeah, I just made
That
this.
is fucking
Yeah,
dope.
I just made this right
How
here.
can
So-
people
That's why he was late.
How can people get a hold of that, man?
Man, you can just DM me, man. You know what I'm saying, on
Where?
Facebook. On
At
Facebook, Shakri Abdul Wali, man. You know what I'm saying. I'm right now. Let me explain to you
I
guys.
want one of those.
I got you, dog. But let me explain to you guys something. I've experienced quite a deal of oppression in my life, like we all have. But some reason and somehow I still wake up every morning and have to put a smile on my face and walk out that door because I know that my family depends on me.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? I don't want to be in any type of fear between me traveling between my home and my job and have to worry about some punk ass police officer who sees someone, a black male like myself, driving a fairly decent newer model car, and in his mind he's
You
thinking,
do got a nice car.
I mean, I do.
Exactly.
But, I don't think that they have the right to tell me or to implement any type of idea that I don't deserve to have that car or I'm doing something illegal that I should be driving it, so I must pull this guy over.
I'm always really funny about that because this is what I do. Like I need you guys to understand. Like my father is white, whiter than white. Okay, bald head white, Italian white. You didn't know that?
I know that.
And he's a police officer. You came to my house, right?
I think you did talk
Saw
about
a
it once.
picture on the
I think you talked about it once.
Yeah, and he's a DC police officer. So I was brought up in that culture, where my dad was not only a cop, but a white cop at that. And this man used to talk to me a lot. And we would ride around in traffic and he would say, hey, look at that car 3 cars up. Mm-hmm. Can you tell who's driving it? No. Exactly. Neither can I.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something you gotta realize sometimes. They don't know who the fuck's driving the car.
Yeah, listen, man.
They just pull it over.
Bullshit.
The problem is when they come up to the window and they see you.
Now they can take advantage of the situation.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Now I can
The
take
issue
advantage of the
is
situation.
the issue is
This changes everything.
Right. It's the issue is, listen, this man that they jumped on. What is his name, man?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I just had it.
Listen, my mind been all mush.
George Floyd.
Yeah,
George Floyd.
my
It's
mind has
crazy
been
common name. I don't know
mush
what his name is.
since this thing happened, so don't judge me on that. George Floyd. This man, if you saw the first video, he was at some kind of Jamba Juice.
What was they
whatever
rocking
place
this
it
man
was.
to?
Hold up. The first video, this man is down on the ground in handcuffs. This is where he's at.
Not looking well.
They pick this man up, walk him across the street, down the block to the space where he basically his life ends at that point.
Yeah.
He falls to the ground probably in an attempt to not get detained.
He looked tired already, though. I'm
People
telling you,
don't
the man
want to
looked
fucking
ill.
get detained. That's what they do. If you're a police officer, you need to understand that. That's what it is. There was not one, not two, but 3 police officers on this man's body. Mind you, this man was at least 6'2", 6'3".
He was tall.
And he was a big dude.
Already handcuffed.
Already handcuffed. But even handcuffed, the threat was still there for them.
Yeah. But it wasn't.
It took one person on his bottom legs, one person on his thigh and back, and then the dickhead on his neck.
And not once did I see this guy resist.
No,
Not
he
once.
enjoyed.
Not once. Let's make this comment. The man did not
I
resist.
cannot breathe is not a statement. It's a request for life.
Let me tell you something, man. I actually.
It is not a statement.
Listen, he called out for his mama, man.
That's what
How you not feel that?
Let me all you mothers out there,
I was in tears,
how do you
bro.
feel when your child is calling out for mama?
That's what fucked me up, dog.
This is not.
I ain't gonna lie.
This should affect every woman.
And this man still ain't in
And
custody.
every woman should be in outrage.
Murder.
You should
Man
be in
still ain't in
outrage.
custody.
The man died asking for his mom. Like a grown man asking for his mother.
And let me tell you, I've been to war, and I know what that cry means. And that cry means that I'm asking for my last help.
Mom.
This is my last cry for help. There's only two people you cry out when you know your life is ending. And that's only your mother or God.
And
There's
God.
only two people you're going to call out for.
Absolutely.
And when that happens, if you're not a human being, that's the only time it won't affect you.
And that guy
You have to be
was-
an
he was a
absolute monster
goddamn dick.
to not feel to help that man.
He was
And
a
I'm telling you right
goddamn
now,
dick.
like we've all been pulled over by cops. And let me tell you, cops have been nice to us.
they have.
Cops have been mean. Cops have been a lot of things. But cops have never, unless they're a monster, set on somebody until they died.
Absolutely.
You gotta be a monster,
Absolutely.
and you need to be prosecuted accordingly.
Let's talk reality now.
Let me ask y'all one question first before you go. Remember what you got to say.
Okay, I got you. All right.
I just got one question for you. If you were the black gentleman who was screaming, because I told my dad this.
Oh, y'all
earlier.
getting off me.
I talked to my dad earlier, and I said, Dad, I'm glad that God put me in a place that He's never let me witness
I told that to
something
my mama
in
today.
person.
I told that to my mama today.
Because I would have been shot dead.
I would have been. I would have
Because I think I would have helped.
I would have rushed them.
I would have. So I just wanted to know if y'all.
Let me tell you something.
Way.
Let me tell you something. You know what you made me just realize? That guy couldn't have been that bad because he did not fight the cops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. He must have been out of, mentally destroyed.
He didn't want to go to jail.
He didn't. But
He didn't want to die.
But
I
he didn't want to
understand.
die. He was like, if I
understand.
fight, I
He
die.
gets killed.
He's like,
He gets shot.
He didn't know he was gonna die that way, but he knew if he fought, he was
He would
gonna
have
die.
gotten shot.
And that means he was nice enough to not go against his own nature of trying to live. And that lets you know that man couldn't have been as evil as those cops.
And this is why I say I'm glad it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm built a different way that I wouldn't have gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Because I was watching that man and I wanted to jump through the phone and help. Yeah. Okay, now go ahead with what you were saying, Shake. I'm sorry.
Listen,
man.
I want to explain to people.
We might go 2 hours today.
No, let me tell you. Well, hold on. Before you say that, let me tell you what happened to me in Mexico. Oh, go ahead, Shakri.
Go.
We all long-winded, you know what I mean?
I don't
I'm sorry.
care, man. If you want to get it out, get it out, man.
Because it's on the same subject before we change it. Let me tell you, me and Shakri, me and our crew, we used to ride down to Mexico all the time.
All the time.
You know what I'm saying? Rosarito, we go deep, but the cops are dirty. You know what I'm saying? They're just dirty. They're not evil like our cops. You know what I'm saying? Not all cops, just the ones that are evil. But one time, big old club fight comes out. The cops just start pulling over every black guy. You know what I'm saying? But you're in Mexico, so that's expected.
Yeah.
And then they got to me, and he was like, "Turn around, you're putting on these handcuffs, you're going down to the cops." I said, "Let me tell you, I ain't never been arrested. First of all, thank God, coming all the way out from New Orleans." And I said, "And I didn't do nothing wrong tonight." And he was like, "Turn around." And he's only could say so much in English. And he was, and the other cops are yelling at me in Spanish. He said, "Turn around, you're going down to the station." And one thing they always say, especially when he was in the military, don't get arrested in Mexico.
Right.
So I told the cop, I said, "I'm not going to jail." And then he was like, "You're going to jail." And then I had some little Spanish girls with me, and I said, "Let them know I'm not going to jail." That's like, if I go to jail, I'm killing whoever's in my cell. I fight all the police, and I was young back then. You know what I'm saying? I was young, and I said, "I'm telling you right now, and nothing's gonna be easy from the time you try to put me in these cuffs." And she said it, and you know what he said? He said, "Give me $100." And he knew I was serious. I mean, we were arguing. He said, "Give me $100." I paid him $100, and he let me go about my way. But I tell you, if he didn't accept that $100, it was not gonna be an easy night for him, me, or anybody in the vicinity.
I feel the same way about that
promise
cop sitting on that man's
And I
neck.
still live
And
by
that little bitch ass Asian cop who was sitting there looking like a
Oh,
fuck boy
man.
who didn't say shit. But
Yeah.
go ahead, Shug.
I just wanted to.
I'm sorry.
No, you good, brother. I just wanted to explain to people what it feels like in the African American community. Every time we see another one of our brothers and sisters shot dead in the street, killed in the street by the police officers, the only thing that goes across our mind is a whip going across our back. Slavery is it's just embedded into our mind. And you don't even understand the mental anxiety that we feel every time that we get pulled over by the police, every time that we get approached by the police. You know, this is a call not to arms, but this is a call for our society, our community, to wake up and join in with our voices and make our voices loud. Like, our voices should sound like thunder coming out of the sky when we're asking for justice for our brothers and sisters that are being mishandled by the justice system, that are being mishandled by the police department. Like, I'm not even going to make this a black and white issue. I'm going to make this a community issue, because there are blacks that are in your family. There are Hispanics that are in your family. There are Asians that are in your family. And we need these voices to be loud and to be clear and to be unified. Right now, our president has made this country look like we're a bunch of idiots who don't know what's going on. But on the bottom, underneath everything, we can tell everybody around the world and within our communities that we are united, and there's some things that we can unite under, and that thing is justice. And that's the only thing I came down here to talk about, is that we need to have justice in our community. We need to have accountability for anyone who commits a murder. And do you know what happens when somebody commits a murder?
What happens?
The sins of that person that was murdered goes on to you. And you don't even know what sins that person had in his lifetime. So for that person who kills is a double torment.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he gets a triple one.
Oh yeah, he's killed before.
Was a dickhead.
He's killed before, and I pray to God that Greg Floyd had peace in his heart, and that Allah accept all of his good deeds.
Well, according to his wife, he had a lot of peace in his heart, and she felt like he would be urging people to forgive the police officer who did it. Unfortunately, he's not here, and we don't care. We're not forgiving shit.
And when this
police,
and this goes to trial, I don't want to see nobody hugging nobody. I don't want to see nobody handing nobody no Bibles.
The question is, are we still going to be engaged when it goes to trial?
Bro,
because that's our problem. That is our problem. Both in John, all of those cases that happened months ago, they're still in trial. Are we following them? Are we interested? We're not.
The reason is
when they bring basketball back and football, are we going to be worried about this case then?
Yes, this
is our issue.
This is where I am. I mentioned earlier, all of you NBA players, all of you football players out there, you should be reaching out to your organizations and telling them, like, hey, I make millions of dollars for your organization. You need to stand up and you need to speak for us, because this is affecting me. That could be my brother. I looked at the guy, I didn't even know him a day in my life. You see what I'm saying? I felt his pain. I felt his cry. I looked at that as my brother. You see what I'm saying? So anyone who goes to work and you have a boss, there's a boss's boss. You need to be emailing them, and you need to be telling them, why are you not speaking up against this type of social injustice if you're supposed to be an equal opportunity employer? I'm not getting mine.
I agree with you.
And for those of you who are wealthy and you care about your money, let's just say if this persists and we do unify enough to make a radical change, let every single paycheck of anybody who is wealthy is supported and funded by the common man, and his paycheck and the money that he makes goes into your pocket. And if you think that this won't affect you, if you think I can just sit around and sit on the side as long as possible and that it doesn't matter, just wait till it affects your pocket, because then you're going to care, but it's going to be too late.
We need blacker towns. You know, we got Chinatown in every city.
You're absolutely right.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
You can go to
black community protection.
You can go to an Indian supermarket.
Black community protection.
You're absolutely right. We shouldn't have to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be a problem for us to go to.
But we got to make it look good.
Because
it can't be looking like
the
hood every time.
No, the thing is, trade is important.
Yeah, but we don't have it.
No, we do.
No, we don't. Listen, when I talk about trade, I'm talking about an area. Chinatown is an area.
Yeah.
When you go to the Hindu market or whatever, they have
their
fucking area, bruh. Even if it's just a little shopping center, they have a dentist. They have a shopping market, a bakery. They have a place where you can buy your toiletries in 99-cent stores. We spend our money with mass businesses: Walmart, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Exxon, Mobil. That's where the black dollar goes.
And
the black dollar stays in the community for 3 hours. The Chinese dollar stays in the community for 3 days.
That's powerful, bro.
Powerful.
That's very powerful. Listen, hey, if you guys are listening to this podcast right now, Dave, can you get on telephone number because we need to get some
203-802-KMWI or 5694.
Let's get a call.
Yeah, you guys call in, man,
open
and
up
give
a
us your thoughts
platform, man.
on.
You know what I'm saying? Because our hearts are heavy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Our hearts are heavy. Our
We want
mothers
to hear solutions.
Our
What's the
mothers are
solution?
crying.
I did a little poetry on Facebook today. I wrote a poem just because, like you said, man, my heart's been heavy for days. Worried about this situation, and it's not that I'm worried about it. It's just it affected me in a different way.
Because it could be
You know what I'm saying?
That concrete was probably hot.
Hold up. Happy birthday to my dad, Vincent Buglisi. Happy birthday. I love you very much. Enjoy your birthday, and also happy birthday to my cousin Reginald Broughton. Happy birthday to you, brother. Okay, go ahead. What was you saying, Suge? I'm sorry, man.
I'm just saying that concrete was probably hot. They had that brother on, man.
It doesn't even
It's
matter.
Minnesota. It's cold.
The whole situation was messed up. And we don't like. There's no more digging into the situation that we need to do. And that's what I'm talking about as far as
Well, it's
common
a little
sense.
bit.
What I'm saying is that we understand what happened. Now we could dig as much as we want, but we already got the bottom line. The bottom line is that a man was injusticeably killed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the problem. You know what? And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no more dissecting it because other people are going to dissect it in the way they want to see it.
And they're
you
going
know
to
what I'm saying? So there's no more dissecting it. They're like, we already see what the problem is. We already know what happened, and now we're just waiting for the consequences to actions, and they need to be consequences.
I think that when a police officer takes the life of an unarmed citizen, there needs to be mandatory minimums.
Well, Minneapolis police officer who murdered George Floyd on May 25th, 2020 is Derek M. Chauvin. Okay, the restraint technique is, of course, not legal.
Nope.
Being represented by Tom Kelly, the same attorney who got Geronimo Yanez off for the Fernando Castillo murder, which is ridiculous. How the fuck does that guy get off when it was on videotape where he shot this dude 3 times after asking him for his license?
Yeah.
He reaches over to grab it, and this dude, and this is what the fuck I'm talking about, dog. If we don't get any of these places of power to where we can make change, this shit's gonna continue to happen, bro. They fucking shot that man in cold blood because he was a bitch ass nigga. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make it as plain as I can. This guy who pulled over Fernando Castillo, the hell is that? Was a sucker. Anyway, he was a sucker. He asked this dude for his license. The guy reached over to grab his license and he just shot him. Shot him up.
Yeah.
Because he was scared. Plain and simple.
But
Not because he meant to do it. Not because it was he was just a scared little sucker. Check this out. The judge, there's a video right now of the judge in disbelief in the Botham case because the district attorney fucking goes out and does an interview and compromises the whole case.
Damn.
Check that shit out. So what is Amber Geiger going to get? She's going to get fucking off on a technicality because it's some bullshit. This is why we're tired. We're not tired because this is why we're tired. Because you're doing this shit and you keep getting off and getting off and getting off and getting off. This is why we're upset. It has nothing to do with anything else.
Red game.
You know, listen, there was 4,587 white people, unarmed white people killed in America in the past like 5 or 6 years. Okay? There's 2,500 blacks. But the thing is that they are 61% of the population. We are killed on a 4 times is higher of a rate as white people, Latino people, and everybody else. Check this shit out. Just in the last couple years, Samuel DuBose, Freddie Gray, Terrence Crutcher, Clifford, I mean, it's so many, Eric Garner, Anthony Hill, Oscar Graham, I mean, Alton Sterling, Renisha McBride, Atinia Jefferson, which just happened a couple months ago, and she wasn't doing shit. They broke into the wrong house and killed this woman in front of her husband.
So
shit's crazy. Botham John, Jordan Edwards, Ahmaud Arbery, Myra Thompson. It shouldn't be this long of a list unless there's an institutional problem that we all have to.
We all have to say
the
something.
little kid said it the best. This is a you problem. Y'all started this. We ain't start this.
Yep.
This ain't us. This y'all. Until y'all change, this what you gonna get. You want Newton? You want burning down your stores? This is what you gonna get until you change. It ain't us.
We just reacting to the situation. We don't really like what we. It's a lot.
I'm in my feelings.
Yeah, I know, man. Trust me, man. I was in my feelings this morning too, man. I woke up and I was like, damn, I'm still hurting over Ahmaud Arbery. Like I'm still hurting over Ahmaud Arbery. Like I haven't really successfully digest his senseless murder.
The police kill 1,000 people a year in this country.
I just drive down the roads, man. I just think I got 3 black boys. I got all sides.
Right,
you have
exactly.
Three black boys.
times the chances of some. I mean, it's just crazy when you.
It's like stepping on the crack in the street. Bro.
Yeah, for sure.
They kill 1,000 people a year, bro. Police, unarmed people.
See, this is ridiculous.
White people, 457 in 2017, 399 in 2018, 2019, 370, 2020, 42. But you have to understand, most of these are drug offenses or things where people are running from the cops, or they have knives, they have blades, or they have guns. Then you look at the black instance.
Well, let's not also include that the fact that even the numbers that contribute to ours are still white mass murderers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah. It's mostly white people killing black people. It's not Asian cops killing black people. It's not
they
black
just stand
cops
by and look the other
killing.
way.
Yeah, they stand by and look the other way. That's why they're accountable too. But it's always a white cop killing a black person. This is the issue we have. We're not trying to make it an issue. We're not trying to create a race issue here. That's not what we're trying to do. That's just what the fuck it is.
Oh yeah, we're just pointing a finger at something that's already there.
Right, exactly.
It's
That's
already
just
there.
what it is.
We can't even change that because that's
We're
history.
like-
we can't make that
The
up.
police are not even giving us a chance to due process. You see what I'm saying? You've been a police officer, you've been a lawyer, you've been a judge, you've been a jury,
You're
you've
the
been a
statistic,
prosecutor,
bro.
and you've also been an executor.
You're the statistic. There's a guy who was a Baltimore County police officer, young white man. I want to go find his name real quick. I swear to God I'm going to, and I'm going to put it in the comments of this post in the YouTube section. You can check out the Joe Rogan Experience. He was on that show, and this guy tells you, like, look, I was a police officer in Baltimore, and we perpetuate this. We go out, we can't find any trouble in the white neighborhoods. Matter of fact, when we find trouble in the white neighborhoods, the mayors and the judges tell us, get the fuck out of those neighborhoods, leave those people alone, because they're going to complain. So in order for me to meet my quota, what do? I head on down to the inner city. It ain't even my place to be. I'm out here in the suburbs. But in order for me to meet my quota, to meet my traffic stops, to meet my pullovers, to get my arrest for the month, I go down to the black neighborhoods and I just find them. I give out tickets and shit like that. He said he was putting people in jail, and one day he was just talking to one guy. And he realized, fuck, this dude ain't no different than me.
Yeah.
He's in here because my friend gave him a ticket 3 months ago that he just ain't had the money to pay.
That's a damn shame, man.
This is the type of shit that holds us back on a community level.
Yeah.
Forget about the killing. What about the financial heartstrings, the financial, place that you put people in when you give them $300 tickets for the month?
Yeah.
$400 tickets for the month. What about that? That shit counts too.
And you're dealing with the inner city population that is already having a hard enough time trying to survive.
The dude that killed that dude, how many people you think he put in jail this year by himself? How many people you think he fucked with on purpose and gave tickets and shit and fucked over?
Oh man, it's probably countless. Probably
Yes!
Like, you know what the thing is?
Every arrest he made should be looked at.
Every arrest that he made should be looked at, and every time like his arrests were booked, like the people that were in charge, like you have to reconstruct the whole entire system because it's fraud. You see what I'm saying? Like we shouldn't be the only ones out here advocating for social justice and social change because it affects your community too. African American people are moving into your community, and we're marrying your daughters, we're marrying your sons, and you will have African American or mixed children in the future. So think about your grandchildren. Think about how this is going to affect them.
And those are the truthful statements that I'll be talking about. Like, you know, like
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, like that.
Our social income is coming up to yours if it hasn't already surpassed it. So your neighborhood is not your neighborhood, and they had this movie back in the day called "Guess Who's Coming to Dinner." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're here, and we're not going anywhere. I do believe that we do need to have.
And we're not in a sunken place.
We're not in a sunken place. We will rise above this. Like even just the three of us, and we have to push our whole community and tell them to voice out and speak up against social injustice. Like we will continue to do this, but we need to hear from our counterparts. We need to hear from the people that we work with every day that know us on a professional and a personal level. We need to hear from you guys because that man that lay dead in the street, it could be me, it could be him, or it could be your neighbor, or it could be your the person that you go to church with, or the person that you go to the gym with, or the person that I don't know. It's on anybody. It doesn't. The way that the police are targeting the African American community, it doesn't have a class. It doesn't have an economic standard.
Nope.
That means that every African American that you know is in the way of getting harmed, and this is why it affects you. Think about what that person means to you in your life.
Yeah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, brother. Wholeheartedly, man.
But my thing is, I want to encourage people to reach out to their companies. It's time for these companies to start stepping up and speaking out and supporting their employees.
Yeah.
That's where we need to start. The marching is not going to work.
I want all the people who had a problem with Colin Kaepernick taking a knee.
Oh my gosh.
To take a stand with us right now.
Yeah, you guys.
You want us to stand for the flag. You want us to respect that flag and stand up for it and not take a knee. These are the times where we need you to stand beside us.
This is an opportunity, okay?
Absolutely.
This is an opportunity to pledge your allegiance. Like, you know what I'm saying? You pledge your allegiance when you're in elementary school, right? To the flag of the United States of America, one nation under God, indivisible, one nation and justice for all. Those words have meaning. And it's time for you. I know Trump supporters, they seem to be way out there, but I know a few of you guys who believe in justice and believe in rights. You just have your political views. I don't care what your political views is. Right now, I need you guys to unite with the African American community and raise your voice against injustice that's been placed upon us.
And we don't need Trump to make America great again. We need, as Americans, to stand and make America great for the first time, as a unit, as a whole, and unified.
Let's make America great for our grandchildren. Like, let's start with the future.
That's right. I mean, with everything said today, I want to kind of bring up the rear of the show by saying, listen, I like I said before, I have a lot of actual police officers I actually know, family members and things of that nature, and I talked to some of them about the situation. So understand that most police officers stand with us.
They do.
This.
I agree.
They
with
do.
You. I agree with you.
They do not agree with that shit. They saw that shit and was like,
they gotta weed them out.
My God.
Oh yeah, a lot of
what the fuck happened?
A lot of them.
But it's up to them. It's up to you. If you've got a badge, you got that billy club, you got that gun, you strap on that bulletproof vest in the morning, you need to understand that you need to do more for your community than just be your brother's keeper. You actually need to be your community's keeper too. Mm-hmm. If you've got some cop that's fucking doing fuck shit, behind the mirror, I'm sorry if I'm using a lot of profanity today, but God damn it.
We hurting, man. We in a lot of pain right now. We in a lot of pain.
I want to recap on something too. When I talked about,
they need to stand up and report those people. Go ahead.
And I think he just went back and went over his solution, was a great idea. Your solution was a great idea, and I said in the beginning, like my thing is, I like to know what the solutions are.
The Man Cave merchandise.
And I want to go back. I want to go back as far as what I was talking about, the black community protection, and it's kind of going to what Dave was saying. I'm just saying, get involved in your community. And what does that mean? That means make sure that your black businesses are getting money from your black community. Make sure that you know the cops in your neighborhood. Believe it or not, those cops work there, and that's where they work. They work that beat, so you can know them just as well as they know you. And make sure they're working for you and not against you. You know what I'm saying? With that community protection, build your community, build your group. Make sure your children can play outside. Make sure that you're holding your school board accountable for teaching your children what they need to know. Know your political members and what seats they are in. And make sure that you're getting the people in those seats that you want to have in those seats.
Yes, city council, mayors.
Get your contacts together. Build your groups. Build your groups. Get your contacts together. It shouldn't take after a negative event that now we start unifying and getting our communication together, and then we want to ride. We should be prepared for it prior, and we should do it on a good basis. You should boycott and riot when you know that, like we see like these nail salons. Like, so get your contacts together, build your group. That means make sure the businesses in your area are not showing favoritism or hatred against you. And when we get that foothold and we have that unity and we can mob accordingly on anybody on any day against any injustice, and they know that we're coming, that's what we want. We want to be ready on any moment of any day.
Those real good points. Real good points, man. We're going to go ahead and end the show on that, man. But if you guys are digging this hat I got, this is the Man Cave Podcast. We got a little bit of merchandise, man. If you guys want to order anything, you can always inbox me. You can hit me up on the YouTube page. You can also Gmail me at the Man Cave. I was about to give my regular Gmail. You can Gmail me there. We got the Man Cave hats, any color you want. We also have shirts. Yes. Man Cave Podcast on the back. Nice little thing on the front. We can customize it and put your name on the front. We have tank tops, all made by my man Suge, man. Of course, that beautiful freaking shirt he has on right now. This says that war shirt.
I don't know if you guys can.
We all need to be pimping that.
Can you zoom in on this one?
Yeah, we all need to be.
These are the words of Haile Selassie. Until the philosophy
I like that.
Which one race holds superior over another inferior is finally discredited and abandoned. Everywhere is war.
That's a dope shirt right there. I love it.
Everywhere. Rumors of war.
Hey, listen, support the platform. Support those who support you. We appreciate you guys watching. We look forward to entertaining you for the rest of the year. Thanks a lot, man. It's the Man Cave.
Did I say Marcus Garvey or Haile Selassie?
You say Haile Selassie.
Okay, Haile Selassie. Respect, man.